Today, we are talking about diving into a topic that's close to my heart, the power of community and connection in midlife and beyond wellness. If you've ever felt the strength that comes from connecting with others, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And if you're not, today's the perfect time to explore how building strong, supportive relationships can truly transform your health and happiness in midlife and beyond. So, why does community matter? As we move through this stage of life, we often face new challenges, whether it's changes in our bodies, energy levels, or even the roles we play at work and home. So true, right? And let's face it, sometimes it can feel really isolating. I know I went through that when I went into menopause, but I'll tell you a little more about that in a bit. The good news is that we don't have to go through it alone. Studies show that being part of a supportive community improves not only our mental well being, but also our physical health. In fact, did you know that strong social connections can actually lower stress levels and even boost your immune system? Yeah, community can be that powerful. Friendships are a key predictor of both happiness and longevity as we age. A strong social network reduces the risk of early death by up to 45%. Now, that is pretty staggering. Okay, by contrast, social isolation and loneliness can really, affect our risk of dementia, heart disease, depression, and other harms to mental and physical health. And I don't know about you, but if I'm not social for quite a while, and I'm kind of an extrovert introvert, so I like to be social, but then I also struggle with some social anxiety. And I've struggled with anxiety for years. I've got it well managed now. But sometimes I just love to be part of a community, and other times I just need to pull back and just be more with myself. And over the years, I've really learned that about myself. And sometimes I have to push myself to get out and get into community and to go do things. And once I'm there, I know that I love it. But I don't know about you. Sometimes it's just easier to stay home, right? It's not as much effort. So research even indicates that loneliness has as much of a high risk as smoking 15 cigarettes a day or having an alcohol use disorder. Like, wow, think about that. Think about that. That's a pretty sobering fact for sure. So when I went into menopause, my menopause was surgically induced. And some of you might know this story, some of you might not. But, one day I was fine. And the next day I was in full blown menopause. And along with healing from the surgery, it was an incredibly difficult time for me. I had no idea what was happening. I had no idea what to expect. My anxiety was through the roof. I was crying at the drop of a hat. My emotions were all over the map. I wasn't sleeping at night. Sound familiar? It was just, it was a show. It really was a show. And, I would have so benefited from community. And when I went out to look for community, and even online, I couldn't find anything. I couldn't find anything that spoke to me. I couldn't find anything that educated and empowered me about what was going on. I picked up some books and I started reading some books, and that was helpful. But I wasn't, having like real conversations with anybody about it. And I just really didn't know where to turn. I felt isolated. I felt lonely. Um, And I was downright scared. I really was. And, I'd like to share a quote that always resonates with me. Surround yourself with those who lift you higher. And that's by Oprah Winfrey. And it's such a reminder that the people we connect with have a huge impact on how we feel about ourselves and how we approach life. Personally, when I'm surrounded by uplifting, supportive people, I feel empowered to take on anything. And at that time of my life, so much going on, my husband not sure what's happening. It was just really so confusing on so many levels. And when I had the opportunity to put together a summit, I chose to do it on midlife and beyond experience, on connection. I wanted to create connection and community. I wanted women to understand that they didn't have to go through this alone. What is available to you out there? And by bringing together experts in their field, we opened up dialogue and conversation over, the last few years about this midlife and beyond experience. Everything from perimenopause to menopause to, we've talked about vaginal dryness, we've talked about pelvic health, we've talked about relationships, we've talked about happiness, how to, just empower. We've talked about the awakening that happens at this stage in our lives. We've talked about what we want our life to look like and how we can make that happen. And I have to say, I am just so proud of and inspired by everything that we've created over the last few years, between the Happy and Healthy and Midlife Summit and the Love the Skin You're In summits. Just beautiful, really beautiful. At this stage in our lives, connection becomes even more essential. We're at a stage where we're rediscovering ourselves, shifting priorities, and embracing new beginnings. It's an exciting time, but it can also be a little overwhelming. This is where community comes in. Having a circle of people who understand your journey can be incredibly grounding and motivating. It's not just about having someone to talk to. It's about sharing experiences, learning together, and supporting each other through the highs and the lows. And I really believe that that is what we have created in this Happy and Healthy in Midlife and Beyond Summit. Brought together 15 other experts in the field of midlife and beyond wellness. And we are just learning some incredible things, just really beautiful. And if you've been on my social media, you're seeing how I'm connecting and sharing the speakers and what they're going to bring to the table in this summit. And if you're not on my social media, you can find me at Sherry Jibb Balanced Midlife on Instagram, as well as here on YouTube. So in the description, I'm going to leave a link for how you can join the summit. And you know what? If you walk away with one thing, one aha moment, this has totally been worth your time. It's going to happen over 5 days from October 3rd to October 7th. And, it's just a real great opportunity to create community, for connection, to empower yourself, to educate yourself, and to learn how to advocate for yourself and what's available for you out there. It blows my mind every time I do this. It truly does. as to, what I learn every time, the feedback I get, and what everybody else is learning. So again, I want to invite you to join us. And I want to thank you so much for joining me for Wellness Wednesday. And we will see you next week.